Welcome to Crime Story with Camila, where we dive deep into the most chilling and mysterious true crime cases. If you love real-life crime stories, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you the most in-depth investigations and untold stories. On December 15th, 2017, the shocking discovery of Barry and Honey Sherman's lifeless bodies in their Toronto mansion sent shockwaves through Canada and beyond. Barry, the billionaire founder of Apotex, and his wife Honey, a well-known philanthropist, were found strangled in their home under mysterious circumstances. At first, speculation swirled around a possible murder-suicide, but further investigations ruled this out, turning the case into one of Canada's most bizarre and high-profile unsolved murders. With a net worth of nearly $5 billion, countless business rivals, and complex family dynamics, many theories emerged about who might have wanted the Shermans dead. Even after years of investigation, no arrests have been made, and the case remains unsolved. What really happened to Barry and Honey Sherman?
Who could have wanted them dead?
And why has this case been so difficult to crack? This is the mysterious story of the billionaire couple's murders, a case filled with unanswered questions, shocking discoveries, and a desperate search for justice. Barry Sherman was a self-made billionaire and the founder of Apotex Incorporated, one of Canada's largest pharmaceutical companies. Born in 1942 in Toronto, Barry's brilliance was evident from a young age. He excelled in academics, earning a degree in engineering from the University of Toronto before completing a PhD in astrophysics at MIT. His journey into pharmaceuticals began when he purchased his uncle's company, Empire Laboratories, in the 1960s. This later led to the creation of Apotex in 1974, which specialized in generic drugs, making medications affordable and widely available. The company grew rapidly, generating billions in revenue and establishing Barry as a major player in the pharmaceutical industry. Despite his success, Barry was controversial, often involved in legal battles with competitors, government regulators, and even his own family members over business disputes. He was known for his ruthless business tactics, which earned him both respect and enemies in the industry. Honey Sherman, born Honey Reich, was widely admired for her warmth, generosity, and community involvement. She was an active philanthropist, serving on the boards of various hospitals, charities, and Jewish organizations. Described as the heart of the Sherman family, Honey played a crucial role in managing their social and charitable commitments. The couple donated tens of millions of dollars to causes like medical research, education, and cultural institutions, making them well-respected figures in Canadian high society. While Barry focused on building Apotex, Honey ensured they gave back to their community, earning her a reputation as a compassionate leader and socialite. Together, Barry and Honey Sherman were a powerful couple, wealthy, influential, and deeply involved in both business and philanthropy. However, their prestige and success may have also made them targets, leading to their tragic and unexplained deaths in 2017. On the morning of December 15th, 2017, a real estate agent arrived at Barry and Honey Sherman's luxurious mansion at 50 Old Colony Road, Toronto. The Shermans had recently put their home up for sale for $6.9 million, and the agent was there to show the property to potential buyers. As they walked through the house, they made a horrifying discovery in the basement pool area. Barry and Honey were sitting side by side, partially suspended by belts looped around their necks, tied to a metal railing by the indoor pool. Their bodies were eerily positioned in what appeared to be a staged scene. Both were fully clothed, with their legs stretched out in front of them, heads tilted slightly forward, and no obvious signs of struggle. When the Toronto Police Service, TPS, first arrived at the Sherman Mansion on December 15, 2017, they initially treated the scene as a murder-suicide. Investigators suspected that Barry Sherman had killed his wife, Honey Sherman, before taking his own life. This theory was based on the unusual positioning of the bodies, seated side by side with belts looped around their necks and attached to the indoor pool railing. There were no signs of forced entry, which suggested that no one had broken into the home. The home's security system was not activated, further fueling speculation that it was an inside incident. Barry's position, legs stretched forward, arms resting at his sides, seemed peculiar for a hanging or suicide, yet the police did not immediately classify the case as a homicide. Family and friends outraged. The murder-suicide theory was immediately rejected by the Sherman family, friends, and business associates. Barry and Honey had no history of marital conflict or mental illness that could support such a claim. Barry was actively involved in Apotex and had major business projects in progress, making the idea of him taking his own life seem unlikely. Honey had injuries on her face, suggesting she had been attacked before her death, something inconsistent with the murder-suicide. The family was so frustrated with the police's handling of the case that they hired a team of private investigators, including former homicide detectives, to conduct an independent probe. A turning point came when the family's private forensic expert, Dr. David Chason, conducted a second autopsy and found both Barry and Honey had been strangled, clear evidence that they had been murdered. Under growing pressure, Toronto police officially classified the case as a double homicide on January 26, 2018, more than 6 weeks after the bodies were found. This delayed response led to major criticism, with experts arguing that crucial evidence may have been lost or contaminated in those early weeks when police failed to secure the crime scene properly. Once the Toronto Police Service, TPS, finally shifted focus from murder-suicide to double homicide, investigators began piecing together what had happened inside the Sherman mansion. However, by the time they did, weeks had already passed, leading to concerns that critical evidence had been lost. The mansion's doors were locked, and there was no evidence of a break-in, leading investigators to suspect that the Shermans knew their killers or willingly let them in. Nothing appeared stolen, ruling out a robbery gone wrong. The home's alarm system had not been activated, which was unusual given the Shermans' wealth. The couple was found fully clothed, sitting upright with belts around their necks, tied to the pool railing in what appeared to be a staged crime scene. These factors pointed to a targeted, premeditated attack rather than an impulsive act of violence. The first autopsy, conducted by Ontario's chief forensic pathologist, revealed that both Barry and Honey had died from ligature neck compression, meaning they were strangled to death. A second, private autopsy ordered by the Sherman family, performed by Dr. David Chason, uncovered even more disturbing details. Honey Sherman suffered blunt force trauma. She had injuries on her face and scalp, suggesting she had been attacked or struggled before being strangled. Unlike Honey, Barry had no defensive wounds, leading experts to believe he may have been restrained or subdued before being killed. Experts believe the positioning of the bodies was meant to mislead investigators, possibly to make the crime look like a murder-suicide. By January 26, 2018, Toronto police officially classified the case as a double homicide. However, the delays in recognizing this fact may have compromised crucial forensic evidence, making the investigation even more difficult. With no forced entry, no stolen valuables, and a staged crime scene, investigators believed the murders of Barry and Honey Sherman were targeted. But who would want them dead? The couple had business rivals, family disputes, and immense wealth, making the suspect list complex and controversial. 1. Business rivals, enemies in the pharmaceutical industry. Barry Sherman, as the billionaire founder of Apotex, was known for his aggressive business tactics in the pharmaceutical world. He had made many enemies over the years, including big pharmaceutical companies that saw him as a threat due to his production of cheaper, generic drugs. Legal battles with former Apotex employees and competitors, including a high-profile lawsuit from Israeli generics company Teva Pharmaceuticals. Allegations of political influence. Barry was known for donating millions to Canadian politicians, leading to speculation that he may have been involved in backdoor dealings. Could someone from the pharmaceutical world have wanted him dead? 2. Family disputes. A lawsuit from Barry's cousins. Barry's family life wasn't without conflict. In 2007, his 4 cousins sued him, claiming that he had cheated them out of their inheritance from his uncle's business. The lawsuit dragged on for years, but Barry ultimately won in 2017, just months before his murder. Some believe the lawsuit may have left resentment within his extended family, though there was no direct evidence linking them to the crime. 3. A contract killing, a professional hit? Many experts believe the Shermans' deaths were the result of a professional hit due to the controlled nature of the crime, no signs of struggle or forced entry. The staged crime scene, possibly designed to mislead investigators. The use of ligature strangulation, which is rare in domestic murders, but sometimes seen in contract killings. Could a hired assassin have carried out the murders on behalf of a powerful adversary? 4. Political and government connections. Barry was a significant political donor, having contributed large sums to Canadian politicians, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party. He was under scrutiny for his political donations, raising speculation about government ties and political enemies. Some theories suggest he may have been targeted for his financial influence or connections in the pharmaceutical industry. 5. The possibility of someone they knew. With no signs of forced entry, some investigators consider the possibility that the Sherman's killer was someone they knew and trusted. Was it someone who had access to their home? Could it have been an insider, a family member, or a business associate? No arrests, a case still unsolved. Despite a $10 million reward offered by the Sherman family for information leading to an arrest, no suspects have been charged. The case remains one of Canada's most perplexing and high-profile unsolved crimes, leaving more questions than answers. One of the most significant pieces of evidence came from nearby security cameras, which captured a lone individual walking near the Shermans' mansion on the night of the murders. The hooded figure was spotted in the area around the time Barry and Honey are believed to have been killed. The person's face was obscured, and they never reappeared on any other cameras, leading investigators to believe they deliberately avoided detection. In late 2021, police officially declared this individual a person of interest, but they have never been identified. Investigators concluded that the way Barry and Honey were found was meant to mislead the police. Honey had bruises on her face, suggesting she was attacked before being strangled. Barry showed no defensive wounds, leading to theories that he was subdued or already incapacitated before he was killed. Both were posed in an upright seated position, which didn't match a typical hanging or suicide scenario. The deliberate nature of the setup hinted at a professional hit or someone trying to send a message. The Sherman's mansion had a high-tech security system, but it was turned off on the night of the murders. No internal security footage was found, meaning either the killers knew how to disable it, or it was intentionally turned off before the attack. There were no signs of forced entry, suggesting the couple may have willingly let their killers inside. Investigators believe Barry and Honey were killed on the evening of December 13, 2017, 2 days before their bodies were found. Honey was last seen alive on December 13th at a business meeting. Barry sent a final email late that night, but he never responded to messages the next day, which was unusual for him. Their bodies were discovered on December 15th, meaning they were in the house for 2 days before being found. Frustrated with the slow progress of the case, the Sherman family hired private investigators and offered a $10 million reward for information leading to an arrest. The private investigation uncovered crucial forensic details that Toronto police had overlooked, including the second autopsy, which confirmed it was a homicide. Despite the massive reward, no credible leads have led to an arrest. Although police have gathered substantial evidence, no arrests have been made, and no suspects have been publicly named. The case remains one of Canada's most baffling unsolved murders, with theories ranging from business disputes and contract killings to political conspiracies. The lack of clear forensic evidence, combined with the professional nature of the killings, has made solving the case extremely difficult. With millions at stake, powerful enemies, and unanswered questions, the mystery of who killed Barry and Honey Sherman, and why, remains unsolved to this day. As of March 2025, the murders of Barry and Honey Sherman remain unsolved, with no arrests made. The investigation continues, but progress has been limited, leaving many questions unanswered. In December 2021, Toronto police released surveillance footage showing an individual walking near the Shermans' residence around the time of the murders. This person has been classified as a suspect, but their identity remains unknown. In December 2022, the Sherman family increased the reward for information leading to an arrest from $10 million to $35 million, hoping to encourage new leads. Ongoing investigation. Toronto police have stated that the case remains active, with investigators continuing to pursue leads and analyze evidence. However, no significant breakthroughs have been reported. The lack of progress has been a source of frustration for both the family and the public, keeping the case in the spotlight and prompting ongoing media coverage and speculation. The brutal and mysterious murders of Barry and Honey Sherman continue to haunt both Toronto and the global crime community. Despite years of investigation, a multi-million-dollar reward, and growing public pressure, no arrests have been made and no clear suspect has been identified. From business rivalries and legal disputes to possible contract killings and political conspiracies, multiple theories have been explored, yet the truth remains elusive. The case, marked by a lack of forced entry, a carefully staged crime scene, and an unidentified person of interest, suggests that this was no random act of violence, but a calculated, deliberate execution. As the Sherman family continues to push for answers, the question remains: who wanted Barry and Honey dead, and why? With ongoing media coverage and renewed investigative efforts, the hope is that one day, justice will be served and the mystery surrounding the billionaire couple's murders will finally be solved. Until then, the case remains one of Canada's most chilling unsolved crimes.
Thanks for watching. For more interesting videos, please subscribe.